Good morning. Today's reflection comes from Matthew chapter 5. This chapter is the first of three chapters in our Bibles that encompasses what is commonly known as the Sermon on the Mount. My NIV study Bible is known as a red letter edition, inasmuch as where the editorial comment decides that these are the words of Jesus speaking, they are put in red, in contrast to the rest of the text, which is in black. Now, this is problematic in of itself, in as much as 2 Timothy 3:16-17 tell us that all scripture is God-breathed, and it's useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. So there's kind of a hiving and a separating of God here with the red and the black edition. But that said, there's an awful lot of red in chapter 5. Of the 48 verses in the chapter, only verses 1 and 2 are in black, and the latter has only got 5 words in it. Verses 1 and 2 read, "Now when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them." The Sermon on the Mount is probably the best known part of the teaching of Jesus, though arguably it is the least understood and certainly is the least followed or lived out by us Christians, and there lies the struggle for me. The sermon captures a vision of kingdom living that goes well beyond the idea of just keeping the rules. It refutes the understanding that Christianity, the good news of Jesus Christ, is about sin management. Jesus in these chapters invites us to live wildly and extravagantly with this God of ours, and from that experience of living with him to live in obedience to him. Don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about murder in a second. It is always wrong to murder, but it comes from somewhere deep within us, and just keeping the rules will not deal with that. And so this is certainly the case, as I just said, when we come to this section of murder in my NIV study Bible. You see in verses 21-26, and just for a second, what's this doing here in the Christian book? The idea that murder has to be talked about. I find that quite amazing. Let me remind you how it begins, verses 21 and 22. "You have heard that it was said to the people long ago, 'You shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment.' But I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother or sister will be subject to judgment. And again, anyone who says to his brother or sister, 'Raka,' is answerable to the court. And anyone who says, 'You fool,' will be in danger of the fire of hell." "You have heard it was said," is how Jesus begins speaking here. The contrast that Jesus sets up here is not between what he is now teaching and what was taught in the Old Testament, but rather he is contrasting what he now teaches as the true understanding of what the Old Testament is saying and how the first century rabbis were interpreting it, is what's going on here. It is a clash between the Christian life of being about sin management and about keeping the rules, and the call here now of Jesus for his disciples, his followers, to live from a heartfelt relationship with their Creator God. Anger, shouting raka at people, it's a word of insult, a word that wounds, a word that belittles, points to the vital necessity and the vital reality that Christianity is a heart religion. Of being ever mindful that rule keeping, of being able to claim, "I did nothing wrong," makes us hard, makes us fundamentally uncaring, and is something Jesus invites us away from this morning. Have a great day, all of us.